Hello world, hello Australia. It's Jamie here, the Crypto Koala. Now it's great to have Ian in today. Now Ian is the COO of the Ferrum Network. He's also a co-founder of the Ferrum Network as well. Great to have you on today, Ian.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It's great to be here.
So mate, we'll get straight into it. Hey, so tell us a bit about yourself, Ian. I understand that you're normally based in New York and at the moment you're in New Jersey. So mate, yeah, how's that for you?
Has its challenges. I do love New York. Just here visiting my mom in New Jersey. I'm usually based in Brooklyn, New York, but we're really a global company. There's teammates all around the world. We have presence in Europe, West Coast, and of course Nigeria, where our flagship product is based. So we like to think ourselves as a global company rather than New York based.
Awesome, Ian. So tell us a bit about yourself, with your background, mate.
Sure. So my background is in law. I was practicing law for many years in New York City, doing litigation at a big firm for many years, and got into crypto in early 2017. Just as an investor, and realized early on that there was a professional opportunity as well for lawyers. So I co-founded the blockchain practice team in my then law firm, and in the course of networking and building out the client base, that's when I met Naeim, my co-founder, and he had already progressed pretty far on the technology. So when I learned about that, I got very excited, and we've been working together ever since. That was back in around this time, March of last year.
Awesome, Ian. So you said that you've been in the sort of the law, you've been in the legal game. So what do you think of like the legislation around crypto at the moment in the US? Do you think that's pro-innovation? Because I know there's been some things that have changed with some of the states over there, you know?
Yeah, I think when you look at on a state-by-state basis, you do see some pockets of progress. Wyoming comes to mind. A few other states, Colorado has some interesting legislation, I think, on the table. But, you know, for the most part, I view the U.S. as a relatively conservative jurisdiction. And maybe that's a good thing, right? Like, you know, I found in my time in crypto that scams are prevalent. We need investor protections. So you know, I'm relatively pro-regulation. That said, I think there are better models out there that we can look to for guidance as a way forward. Our company is based in Malta, and we found that their new regulations, the Virtual Financial Asset Act, really finds, I think, a sweet spot between innovation and investor protections. It's one of the reasons why we opted to incorporate there and have some operations there. So I'm hopeful the U.S. will continue to progress and innovate, but it's you know, it's a slow moving ship over here.
I noticed that new taxonomy bill that's going through Congress at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks, because it seems like actually changing the classification, giving that bit more definition. So it'll be interesting to see if that gets through. I know it's gone through, it's been brought up to Congress before, and it's not quite got that far. So hopefully that gets a bit more traction and gets through.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that'd be great to have some clarification on what the IRS considers crypto to be, right? Is it a property? Is it a commodity? You know, unfortunately, there isn't a large crypto lobby in DC, so I don't foresee that legislation moving too quickly through Congress. It's not a priority of many legislators. Unfortunately, I think we have to just deal with the situation that we have now, which is sort of some muddled and conflicting classifications. But there are some very good lawyers and tax specialists out there who have managed to wade through the mess. I'm not I'm not one of them, but yeah, you know, these things take a long time at the legislative level, and the technology always moves much faster, but it'll catch up eventually.
Yeah, awesome, Ian. So, mate, we're going to the Ferrum Network. So, in a nutshell, could you try and sum up, like, briefly what the Ferrum Network is?
Sure. So, Ferrum Network is a blockchain-based fintech company. And you can really think of the project as two interrelated components. You have the high-speed interoperability network, which is a blockchain-esque decentralized network. It's not a blockchain per se, it's actually a DAG, but it's innovative in that it can connect to any other blockchain and also works natively with fiat currencies. So that's the network itself. And then, we realized early on that to succeed, especially in this market, you can't just rely on a network and expect people to come and somehow be successful. You have to actually build products that solve people's problems and acquire users for those products. And so that's really what we've been focused on for the past 6 months or so. So the network supports and is designed for various financial applications. So you can build a DEX on top, you can build a decentralized wallet, you can build cold storage application. The thing we've been focused on mostly for the past 5-6 months is a fiat to crypto exchange, fiat gateway for emerging markets. And that's, if you've done any research on the project, which I know you have, Jamie, you've seen reference to Kudi exchange. So that's sort of our flagship product. It's based in Nigeria. It's live right now with users. And that to us is really what differentiates us, a company with users, real working product, and network utility at an early stage. So that's sort of Ferrum in a nutshell.
So you mentioned about the Kudi exchange. So what's the relationship between, you got the Kudi exchange and you got your own Ferrum DEX? So what does it do for trading? You got the stable coins in there. Does it act as a fiat gateway? How does that work?
Right. Okay. So Kudi Exchange is a product that is running on Ferrum Network. It's very similar to Coinbase in that you link up your bank account, you undergo some KYC, you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. But it's also a peer-to-peer payments application. So you can kind of think of this product as a combined Coinbase plus PayPal. But there's a third aspect to it that we think is really unique and really no one else is doing. And that is through our partnership with Gemini, we're the only exchange in all of Africa that allows users to buy digital US dollars with their local currency. So that's Kudi in its simplest form. It's running on the Ferrum network, so it provides us users a network utility, but it is a separate entity that's in Nigeria.
Very interesting when you mention Africa and Nigeria. Do you see that as a place for strong adoption?
Oh, absolutely, and it's not just my opinion. I mean, the facts really bear it out. So, for example, Nigeria is really a great market for what we're doing. It has the 7th highest Bitcoin volumes in the world. A recent data came out that it's the first highest country that's searching for the word Bitcoin in the world. And of course, it being a developing country, there's a strong demand for US dollars, and their existing banking infrastructure is such that it's somewhat difficult to send money around as quickly and as fast as people would like. So I think we built a product that solves a lot of their challenges and also provides a great place to just buy and sell digital assets.
Something that's really interesting I come across the other day was that there's more mobile phone users now in Africa than the US and Europe combined. And something like 35% of them only have access to banks. So that's, a big portion of the population of Africa that have access to, to actually a banking system, or even a way to moving away actually from the word banking, but a way to actually a currency, a stable currency, or to transact goods and things like that. So I think Africa's going to be a pretty strong place for adoption. It seems that way. It's like with the Google Trends, like you mentioned, it's a place where it's growing. So what other products you guys been working on there, Ian?
Yeah, so in addition to Kudi Exchange, Ferrum Network supports a host of other financial applications. We're now focused, of course, on Kudi. Have to launch or get that out of beta testing, launch it to a wider audience. But following Kudi, we're going to be launching the Unifier wallet. It's essentially it's a non-custodial cryptocurrency wallet for risk-free over-the-counter trades, instant market trades, and I think one of the most exciting features is the fact that you can now send Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the other slower, more expensive digital assets in the space. You can send those in milliseconds for 1 cent in network fees using the Ferrum Unifier wallet. That'll be coming out in Q3 of this year.
Awesome. I noticed as well there's something that you guys have been working on is the converting a mobile phone to act as a ledger or a trezor. Now, thinking of the developing countries like Africa, is that not everyone can afford a hardware wallet. So and that's pretty unique. I've not seen that before, Ian. The ability to turn a basic phone into a hardware wallet. It just sounds like an interesting concept.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that product for all the reasons you touched on. There's an acute need for people to control their own money in developing countries due to the lack of trust and issues with the banks and things. But there is not meaningful access to traditional hardware wallets. They're very expensive. I don't even think Ledger will ship a Nano to Nigeria. In fact, I know they won't. So you have to buy them like on the secondary market for massive, massive markups. So the ability to turn an old Android phone into a cold storage wallet is a really innovative solution. We're calling it the Sub-Zero wallet. And effectively what it is it's an app you can download on an Android phone. You disconnect that phone from the internet, take out the SIM card, and the app still works, and you can send your digital currencies to your hot wallet back and forth from the hot and cold using QR codes. Very simple, very easy to use, and will only cost $10. And this is a product that, while we're not focused on in the near term, we will be releasing it sometime in 2020.
Interesting, Ian. So throughout the bear market, have you come across any challenges building-wise? Because I know I've got to ask that question because, whereabouts do you guys get the funds from, Because you've been around since early Q1 2018, so,
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's certainly been challenges in the bear market for us and everyone. We're fortunate in some ways, and then we also, I think, made some smart decisions along the way. We're fortunate because my co-founder, the founder of Ferrum, Naeim Yeganeh, is the lead developer, and he has 10 years experience or more than 10 years experience at the biggest tech companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Bloomberg, and has been coding really all his life. So when one of the co-founders is technical and also very, very good at building products, we can keep costs down, right? Because we don't have, the co-founders don't pay ourselves as much. We would have to pay an outside developer. So we were able to keep costs down through the bear market, and we obviously just tightened our belts. You hadn't seen us at a lot of conferences. You haven't seen a lot of marketing coming out from us, and that is about to change. But we felt like, okay, we don't know how long this bear market's going to last. We have to survive through this. And if we do, we can actually be very successful. So our burn rate is very, very low. It's about $10,000 a month. And it's allowed us to survive through the bear market. But we did get some early seed investing from a Nigerian American blockchain VC. That's TLG Ventures, and they're the ones who also helped us launch Kudi. So there's been many challenges. Don't get me wrong. You can ask my fiance about the financial challenges we face, but I think we're in decent shape heading out of this bear market into the crypto spring that I think we're in.
Good to hear, Ian. So you got your public sale coming up in Q3 of this year. So looking at maybe raising a bit more funds to help your project out. So what does that look like? What are you looking at trying to raise there?
Yeah, so, we think the market is heading in sort of a new direction for crypto, but an old direction for every other capital market, where an early stage startup does not raise untold millions. An early stage startup raises only the amount that they need to get themselves to the next stage of funding. So we have a very sort of unique, at least for crypto, take on token metrics, which will be coming out very shortly, and we'll be releasing the info on the new hard cap and all that information in the coming weeks. But what I can tell you is that we've done a few innovative things. So we've greatly reduced the hard cap, and we'll be selling less tokens at the ICO, but still a considerable percentage. We've then taken the remaining tokens that would have been sold at the ICO, and we've created something called the reserve model. So effectively, we're locking those remaining tokens in the company reserves. They'll be locked for 1 year, and then slowly released over time and as we hit certain traction-based milestones. So for instance, getting 50,000 users on the Kudi exchange, releasing Unifier Wallet, whatever the case may be. So we feel like this is a way for us to raise much, much less money, therefore de-risking the investors. It's also sort of aligns the incentives of the investors and the project, because now we must hit milestones, right? Yeah. Which is good for everybody. So we're doing some, I think, pretty innovative stuff. We'll be releasing details on that in the coming weeks, and I think the community really is going to like what they see.
It's good to see a realistic amount. You see some projects in the past, they ask for millions and millions, and we've seen it with ICOs in the past and IEOs now, huge amounts of money. And you could think of what they're developing, and you could try and justify the cost, and it's good to see a project that is being modest. And that sort of is good to see that, we can sort of, that's the amount, because a lot of investors, I guess they look at that now and say, okay, ideally, how much funds do they need to develop, to build for the next few months or the year? Do they really need all these millions and millions of dollars to build? So you guys have been using the DAG ledger similar to blockchain, but do you feel confident that it will handle the same volume? So once you've got the exchange fully going, the centralized exchange fully going and operational, do you feel like with that DAG ledger that it can handle that? It can handle the volume, it can handle the transactions, it can handle that sort of load?
Yeah, so, the DAG, a DAG is really not a new concept in distributed database systems, in the world of distributed database systems. But, and it's not really that new to the world of cryptocurrencies either. Our DAG is actually it's a hard fork of IOTA with some significant security improvements and Ethereum address compatibility. Now, people have their opinions of IOTA, but the reality is it's never been compromised in its entire existence. And it's a pretty reliable network. So we're quite confident in the DAG ledger being sufficiently fast and secure, and it really complements what we're trying to do with sort of a high-speed decentralized network that can take that basically a network like Bitcoin can plug into, and then make a Bitcoin go much faster and cheaper. So that's really what the Ferrum Network is designed to do, and we are confident it can do this, and it's proven it on the test net. If anyone's curious and wants to see sort of private the private test net, there's a form you can fill on the website, and we're happy to show whoever's interested.
So I guess as well is that gives you the ability for interoperability, for cross-chain capability.
So, well, the DAG is more just to confirm the transactions. The interoperability solution is something that's completely, well, I don't say completely, but it is unique and proprietary to Ferrum Network. So basically, the interoperability solution comes in through the use of proxy tokens. And plugins to other networks and value guarantees, and it's something we have a patent on. But basically, the interoperability works. An outside network can plug into Ferrum Network, and the user can then, using the Ferrum Unifier wallet, import their Bitcoin, for instance, from their Bitcoin wallet into their Ferrum wallet address. What's happening on the back end is a proxy token, a proxy Bitcoin is created. Now, this is that's not entirely new innovation, right? There's other networks out there that use proxy tokens as an interoperability solution. Our innovation comes in the way that those tokens are distributed amongst the nodes, and the private key of the underlying asset is also broken down and distributed across the nodes, and there's certain security measures in place to make sure the nodes can't collude and recreate your private key and steal your money. So we basically added an additional layer of security and decentralization to an existing solution interoperability. And of course, and then you add that to the DAG network, and you have the ability to exchange and transact any digital asset very fast, very cheap. And that's really the fundamental value proposition of Ferrum Network itself.
Well, I guess like the major issue, and this is something that's faced, is the major issue of multiple blockchains and cryptocurrencies is that to have an app, to have a platform where you're able to have them all in one place, it's going to make it easier for the user. It's going to, do an assist in adoption. So I think that's one of the major issues we've got here at the moment is that, there's so many different blockchains out there, and there's so many different crypto, and I want to go through an exchange, get this crypto, we'll go and have a wallet here and a wallet there. I want to go to one place and have it, basically go into the Ferrum network and get access to my cryptos in one place. So moving on to the FRM token, what's the use case there? Like, is there an incentive to actually use the token?
Sure. So not only is there an incentive, it's actually basically a requirement if you want to use the Ferrum network. Basically, it's the gas of the network. It's similar to Ethereum. You need to spend a small amount of Ferrum token to confirm transactions of the network, and this is there are no miners in Ferrum, but you still need to attach proof to a transaction for it to execute. And so that's the purpose of the Ferrum token. The unique thing about it, though, is that every time a transaction is run and you have to spend about, say 1 cent in Ferrum for, say I wanted to send $500 worth of Bitcoin, instead of paying the Bitcoin miner fees, you can do it through the Ferrum network and spend 1 cent of Ferrum token. But what happens to that token is it's then burned. So that's why it's very important when we talk about users in daily transactions, because if we can scale up the users in the daily transaction, a place we think we can get it, and obviously Kudi Exchange and our loyal customers in Nigeria play a critical role in that. But if we can get those to, 10,000, 100,000 transactions a day, that's a pretty significant amount of tokens being burned. And of course, for those who are holding on, that's sort of an attractive thing. So that's the Ferrum token. Now, I guess some interesting other things coming up. Staking will be introduced in the network. We have some articles that are being released soon on that. We have another kind of burning that we'll be introducing. So there is a lot going on with the token, but fundamentally it's Ethereum gas that burns.
Do you still on track for your mainnet coming up? Is that something that you think you guys be able to deliver?
Yeah, so if you go to the website, you'll see a revised roadmap that we just put out. We had to, we made some changes based on some business decision we made, obviously Kudi being the focus for the past 6 months. But mainnet is scheduled for Q4 of this year. There's absolutely no reason we can't achieve that. Once Kudi's done, we're going to begin work on the network. So, or not begin work, but finish work, I should say. Admittedly, some of the raise that we'll be doing will be used to bring on some more engineers to help speed up the process. But there's no reason we can't release the mainnet in Q4. I think mid Q4 is actually quite realistic.
Yeah, okay, Ian. Well, I'll put the links down below, guys, if you want to check out the Ferrum Network. And also, I know you mentioned earlier on about the tokenomics. There's a recent change there. So if you want to check that out, guys, look on the links down below. I'm just going to say I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not saying go and buy Ferrum tokens. Make that judgment yourself, guys. Do your own research. Ian, it's been a pleasure talking to you, mate. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Jamie. You too. It's been a pleasure. Be in touch.
Yeah, see you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.